Rose arrives home brimming with excitement, carrying a bouquet of freshly picked wildflowers from St. Olaf. She confides to Blanche and Dorothy that she's been seeing a new man from work, Dr. Jonathan Newman, a kind psychiatrist, and that their relationship has blossomed over 6 delightful dates. Although Rose adores him, she's kept his existence a secret, worried her friends might judge the pair because Jonathan happens to be a little person. Sophia, ever blunt, quips that Rose's heart is big enough for anyone, but Rose ducks away, cheeks pink with anticipation. Determined to meet Jonathan, Blanche takes matters into her own hands and rings him up to invite him over for dinner, forgetting to check with Rose first. Rose panics and rushes to intercept, but by the time she bursts into the dining room, Jonathan is already there, charming Dorothy with medical anecdotes and offering Rose a warm smile that melts away all her nerves. The apartment's pastel walls seem to glow with possibility as Rose introduces her boyfriend, bracing herself for reactions she hopes won't hurt his feelings. Blanche greets Jonathan at the door with the perfect hostess smile, but freezes the instant she realizes his stature. Her poised shrimp offer trails off awkwardly, and she backs into the kitchen, mortified that she's made the evening suddenly about his height. Dorothy, quick on the uptake, ushers Blanche out to retrieve hors d'oeuvres, while Jonathan and Rose exchange nervous glances over the candlelit table. Rose's heart pounds. Her secret is exposed, and she fears Jonathan's comfort is as shaken as her own. When Blanche returns, she blurts out a clumsy accusation. "You're here to teach me a lesson, aren't you?" She suggests Rose hired Jonathan just to humble her, leaving both Rose and Dorothy speechless. Jonathan's polite frown softens into a patient smile as he rises to fetch more hors d'oeuvres, refusing to let Blanche's embarrassment spoil the mood. The tension eases as he begins a light-hearted conversation about their shared love of French cuisine, reminding everyone why Rose fell for his kindness in the first place. Later that night, Rose lies awake, replaying every moment of dinner and agonizing over Blanche's comments. Fear and hope war inside her as she drifts into a vivid dream. She's walking down a flower-strewn aisle, her late father transformed into a dwarf trailing behind, while famed psychic Jean Dixon hovers overhead, offering cryptic marriage advice. The carnival-like dreamscape shifts from romantic to absurd, and Rose awakens in a cold sweat, convinced that her heart and her head are each pulling her in opposite directions. Shaken but resolute, Rose resolves to follow her heart. She practices what she'll say to Jonathan, confessing how deeply she cares for him and estimating how many cookies she'd bake to celebrate their engagement. The once nervous flutter in her chest becomes a determined beat as she dresses in her favorite floral dress, gathering courage for the next step in a romance she hopes can overcome any obstacle. The next evening, Jonathan invites Rose to L'Auberge, Miami's coziest French bistro. Candlelight dances off the table's white linens as they toast with sparkling cider, Jonathan complimenting Rose on her bravery and grace. Rose's nerves tingle. He's asked her to dinner without Rose inviting him this time, a gesture she interprets as the prelude to a proposal. She nervously fiddles with her napkin, her mind racing through dream-inspired lines as Jonathan's kind eyes lock onto hers. Just as Rose braces for Jonathan to reach into his coat for a ring, he clears his throat and says, "Rose, there's something I need to tell you." Tears of joy brim in her eyes as she whispers, "Yes, Jonathan?" But what follows isn't a question of matrimony. It's a confession that his deep-rooted faith compels him to be with someone who shares his Jewish heritage. Rose's heart lurches. The moment of her dreams morphs into a gentle unraveling of a bond she desperately wants to hold on to. Rose's initial shock gives way to pleading disbelief as Jonathan explains that he cannot ask Rose to compromise her own beliefs, or his, in a lifelong commitment. His voice trembles with regret as he apologizes for unintentionally leading her on. Rose fights tears, recalling his kindness, his intelligence, and the warmth she felt in every moment they shared. Sophia's earlier remark about heart matters echo in her mind. Your heart's big, dear, but sometimes beliefs run deeper. Returning to the apartment, Rose staggers through the door, clutching her handbag as though it might anchor her to reality. Her friends envelop her in a circle of hugs and apologies, Blanche's remorseful kisses, Dorothy's comforting arm around her shoulders, and Sophia's rare, gentle whisper, his loss. Though Rose's tears fall freely, the unwavering support of her chosen family softens the sting of rejection and reminds her that she's never alone. In the aftermath, Rose sorts through a bouquet of Jonathan's flowers, finding a tucked-away note. Faith shapes hearts, but friendship shapes souls. She pins it to the refrigerator alongside Sophia's cheesecake stoicism and Blanche's plate-licking optimism. With a deep breath, Rose determines to honor her own beliefs while cherishing the love they once shared, letting gratitude take the place of sorrow. That evening, the four women gather on the lanai under Miami's twinkling skyline. Blanche pours a round of chamomile tea. Dorothy lines up saucers of Sophia's mini cheesecakes, and Rose raises her cup. To love in all its forms. They clink mugs gently, the night air humming with laughter and shared resilience. As wind rustles the palm fronds above, Rose realizes that the sweetest romances sometimes end early, but true friendship endures forever.